Hello and welcome to In Business Talks 2, a weekly podcast about people who work together as a couple. Learn the secrets of business partnerships, the benefits and pitfalls of working together, be it husband and wife, father and son, mother and daughter, friends, relatives or any other combinations of business partnerships. We are your hosts, Tracy and Ian Earle, founders of In Business, a networking and business support community. And together, we are In Business.
As well as speaking with other couples, we'll let you know of any useful apps or websites out there that our members have come across and shared with us at our regular weekly online meetings. Plus, we'll also tell you about our special bonus episode coming up this Friday, our Friday Fix. So be sure to listen all the way through to the end to find out more. So without further ado, let's crack on with In Business Talks 2.
We'd like to welcome to our show today, we've got Joanne and Steve Clayton from Data Bubble. Welcome, guys. Thanks for coming along today and agreeing to have a chat with us.
So okay. Welcome, Joanne.
Welcome, guys. Well, good to see you both.
So, first question. How long have you been in business together?
Well, I set the business up 12 years ago, and then 8 years ago, Steve came on board. So we've been working together for 8 years, even though the business has actually been in trading for 12 years.
This is what it's 8.5 years. Don't forget the half.
Oh, that's important. The half's important, of course it is.
It feels like a lot longer again.
It's a lifetime, Steve, a lifetime. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about Data Bubble and what you do?
Yeah, we help companies to get new business by providing lists for marketing. So business-to-business lists for email marketing and telemarketing. It saves people loads and loads of time searching the internet for their ideal customer. They can come to us and within a few hours, we can provide them with a list of their ideal customers so that they can then do email marketing and telemarketing. Why come to us? Not only does it save you time, but you know that it's GDPR compliant, it's accurate, up to date and covered by our guarantees. So no quibble guarantee. So yeah, a lot of people use us because they want new business quickly.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. All right. So my question is, and I realise that this is important, Steve. So you've been in business together 8.5 years now. So whose idea was it to go in business together? How did that come about then? Was it a blinded flash of inspiration or what was it?
Not so much a flash of inspiration as, yeah. Well, the story is that my career from leaving school, because I'm 21 years old now, had a long and illustrious career in banking and finance.
Right.
So quite, it marries well with data, as I'm sure you'll agree. Not. Basically, after 25, I'd had enough. And I said to Joanne, that's it, I need to get out of here. It's just too stressful. And Joanne, I think she would say, jokingly said, well, why not come and work with me? She was on her own at the time, 3.5 years into the business. And I took her up on it. And I think at first she went, sugar. But it wasn't as if I was completely new because I'd been writing blogs, helping out with accounts, doing a bit here and there and all that. But the actual leap of faith, if you like, from at least one of us getting a paid salary guaranteed every month to all of a sudden a one-person company having to feed 2 mouths, I think that was where the shock came in, really. But here we are, 8.5 years later, still going strong, from strength to strength. Yeah.
And still happily married.
Yeah. We're living separate accommodate. No, I'm joking.
So was it quite a worrying time when you think, okay, we're going to go for it then? Was it quite a worrying, and did it cause any sleepless nights, or do you think, are we doing the right thing here? Or do you just think, let's go for it?
More a case of let's go for it, because I was that down. Personally, I was that down with working where I was working. I needed something to change. And a lot did change after that. It caused all sorts of changes to our lifestyle, all of which was for the better. We knew we worked well together before the plunge anyway, because Joanne was working at home with Data Bubble before we ever got any office space. I was working at home as part of my job, so we knew that we could work together before. So it wasn't that much of an uphaul, really, was it? It was just obviously the case of having to feed 2 mouths rather than one.
He didn't have any sleepless nights, but I did. I can tell you that. For me, it was a case of, oh, hecky thump, what the heck do I do now? Plus also for me, it was letting go of things. So letting go of the finance, letting go of and letting Steve in on the business, although he says that he worked a little bit on the business. He didn't do that much with regards to the day-to-day running of the business.
No, I didn't.
So therefore, it was a letting go of your little baby, your little puppy. Absolutely. Letting go of your little puppy to another person and saying, right, okay, this is how it's done. This is the way that I do it. And all of a sudden then he comes along and says, well, I don't think it does work that way. I'm going to change it. And they're going, oh my God, what's he doing? And that's because of the sleepless nights.
So have you now got different roles
Yes.
within the...
We have some crossover, as you
There are crossover.
Yeah, I mean, we are both sort of customer focused and driving the sales forward for the business, but we still have distinctly separate roles. So, I mean, for example, I deal with the finance and Joanne doesn't go anywhere near it. Joanne deals with like the social media side and I don't go anywhere near that. Apologies.
So you play to your strengths then, I suppose, don't you? Because if your background's banking, I suppose, then it makes sense, doesn't it, that you would
to be
take
fair,
over the
he works in one
finances
room and
side,
I work in another room, and sometimes we cross each other when we're having a cup of tea or going to the toilet, and that's it. And then at the end of the day, there could be sometimes we'll say, oh, how's your day been? And I'll go, oh, right, yeah, and we'll actually have a discussion regarding work. That's how sometimes separate we are, but yet there's also other times that we're communicating on a matter of hourly basis. So therefore, it really works well that we can both leave each other and work together quite closely or very closely.
Yeah.
And do you talk about business in your...
Oh yes, I do, and it really annoys him.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't switch off because what I'll do is even on a weekend I'll wind down and I'll have an idea and I'll have an idea and I'll have an idea and I will write myself an email and ping it to myself, and all of a sudden he'll just go, will you rest? Will you take a break? And it's not that I'm not taking a break, it's just that I'm taking a break from the business, and then all of a sudden it's allowing other fresh ideas to actually come in there that I go, right, okay, rather than write it down, email myself, so therefore I know that I won't forget. And yes, it winds him up because he can switch off. He's the type of person that can actually switch off. I can't.
It can be frustrating at times, like when you're watching a film and all of a sudden you look over and she's tapping on a phone at LinkedIn and you're like, oh, crying out loud. But then she puts the phone down and says, what have I just missed?
I mean, what happened there? Actually, that sounds like a good idea, that about emailing yourself. Yeah, good tip there.
Yeah.
We forget also. We have discussions, don't we?
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Oh, you will do that. And then memory spans of goldfishes, 5 minutes later, what did we say? I don't know. I can't remember what we said.
And the other thing is that we've got dogs and that are godsend, not only for business, but also for us to get out. But that is the time that I will then turn around and say, right, what's today's topic of conversation?
Yeah.
And it'll often be talking about something mundane, and then it'll go back to the business, and then it'll go back to something mundane. But if we need to thrash anything out, not that we argue or anything like that, it's just that if we need to actually discuss something,
that's when we have our business meetings.
It is.
People say a lot of business is done on the golf course, and for us, that's exactly right. It is, because we walk the dogs on the golf course.
Yeah. Sounds like a good plan. So next question, do you always agree on everything then?
There's majority of time. I was just going to say majority of time we do actually agree. And I wouldn't actually say if there is a dispute or anything like that, it's a kind of let's talk it out, let's thrash it out. Right, okay, we don't agree. Come back tomorrow when we're walking dogs and we'll talk about it again. But it's very, very rare that we one's in one corner and you're in one corner and I'm in another. It's very, very rare.
Yeah.
I can't even think. Out of the 8 years, I can't even think.
We've never had a full-blown argument.
Never. No.
And more often than not as well, I'm not being funny, but Joanne's to describe us, Joanne's a creative. I can never remember which side of brain it is, but Joanne's a left brainer and I'm a right, or vice versa. So she's the creative one. She's the Dyson. She's the Richard Branson. She comes up with the ideas and all that lot. And because 15 years of my career in banking was in what was called impaired debt. So basically, corporate insolvencies, business going under, that kind of. So I was looking at the bad side of business, and because of that programmed my brain into always looking out for the problems that might come down the road. So Joanne's the one that has the ideas, and I'm the one that pulls back and goes, "Hang on a minute."
He's cautious.
I'm cautious,
but I'm wild.
Yeah.
So therefore, it works really well because I go wild, wild, and he'll turn around and go woo, rein me in.
Yeah.
And I get pulled up.
Yeah. If we could then go away and sort of like not calm down, we argue, but then we ponder it, and process it, and then we come back together and we work out ways that we can actually make it meet, and that works really well. And that's where the dogs, like Joanne said, are a godsend, because they probably do prevent us from having those sort of wild arguments. But it is few and far between because we're so set on the same goals.
Very much so.
And what sort of vision do you have for the future of data? Are you wanting to go global? What is your vision for? Is it a lifestyle business? Is it just you just want to be comfortable and have a good business, or are you wanting a department with 30 people?
No, it's more than a lifestyle business and nothing global is what I would say in a nutshell, because we did dabble in the world of employment once. It didn't go according to plan for one reason or another, and that was no fault of anybody. Just what that did was help us to realise what we want is what we've got. So in our world, we're not solicitors where there's 10 to a dozen. We're not any one industry where there's lots. We're very fortunate in that we're in quite a niche industry. You very rarely go to networking, for example, and come across anybody else that supplies marketing lists.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking subscribe or follow. This podcast is made possible because of listeners like you. So thank you. We really appreciate your support. Now back to the show.
But what we are is a small fish in a big pond with some big players. So there are some really big companies out there who we certainly don't want to be. We don't want to challenge them. They're quite happy for us to be bottom feeders, they might call us. I don't know. That's for fine. Them to be the big guys getting all the Nike contracts and the Adidas contracts. We're not interested in that. We put ourselves out there for the SME market.
Absolutely.
Yeah, small and startup businesses. Yeah.
And yours is quite a personal service, isn't it? You are the face of the business, and you are the personality of it.
I think the other thing is that we learned is that when we actually took somebody on and they went networking, it were, where's Joanne? Where's Steve? And all of a sudden it was quite. It was unfortunately it was a detriment to the gentleman that we actually took on, because they didn't want him. They wanted us. Because we were
the people behind it. Yeah.
So it was tricky for him, wasn't it?
It was tricky for him, to be fair. But like I said, the main thing that we got out of that personally was that it helped us to know what we wanted to be.
Focused.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you found that being in business has changed your relationship?
It strengthened it, if anything. I don't think
I think that from you were coming from a corporate environment that was such doom and gloom, you only saw the bad element of a business.
Yeah.
To then come into a successful business that's thriving is all of a sudden a bit of a mind change for you. And plus also during that time I was doing training with NLP. I introduced you to NLP, and at which point it then opened up your horizons and your thought processes, rather than being closed in to the manufactured corporate world.
Yeah, exactly.
So therefore, to a certain degree, it really helped you.
That strengthened our relationship. It gave me. I was very blinkered, and the corporate world was the only one that I'd ever lived in or worked in. And Joanne, of course, being the sort of like the creative and what have you, and the entrepreneur, she was more open to certain things that I was most definitely closed to, shall we say. And that allowed, that, like I said, that allowed me to open more and become more receptive to other ideas that weren't perhaps as black and white and prescriptive as the corporate environment, that has certainly helped our relationship, because there were occasions prior to that were loggerheads, and I was just no.
It's done this way, it's done that way, it's done this
the
way.
only way.
Very black and white.
So it's
You've
definitely
now got a grey element, love.
I've got
as well as
as
well as your chin.
The hair. But yeah, it's definitely strengthened the relationship, as you can see.
Good. Yeah. So what's the best thing about being in business together, do you think then?
The best thing about being in business together,
I think the togetherness.
I think so. And
You've got my back and I've got your back.
Yeah.
That for me is a real big bonus.
Yeah, that's true.
And you look out for me when I go off on my little ideas and bring me back, and that then creates me to sit down and say, right, okay, now focused, and I'll focus on something. So I know that you've got my back. Not that you've never had me back before, but I know that you've got me back.
With knowledge and experience.
Well, no, in business as well as then personal. You always had me. You always had my back when, in personal, but now you've got it in business as well. So it really works. For me.
Yeah.
No, I tend to agree.
And
Do you
Steve,
agree with that, Steve?
and Steve, so is it best thing you ever did then, joining Joanne in the business? Are we glad to? Was it a big relief getting out of the banking? Has it changed your life sort of quite dramatic? It seems like it has, but
changed my life massively, and for me particularly, because like I said, I was so blinkered and so black and white, and I opened my horizons up to all sorts of different things, which I won't bore you with on this podcast. But yeah, I mean, it's been a journey for me. Really has, from my banking days, to the extent that I even got a tattoo to sort of I don't know, to market, if you like, because it was such a transformation. If you'd known me 10 years ago, you wouldn't recognise me.
Right.
That much.
Can we see the tattoo, or is it inside?
Not on the podcast, but there. It's the chakras.
Yeah.
Oh, is it right? Could you see the blank stares we were given that day? We're obviously clueless.
As was I 10 years ago.
I think you were closed in, weren't you?
Closed in, yeah, very much. So so I have been on a journey, really have, and that has helped to strengthen our relationship beyond where we ever thought it could go to. So, and other things that have come about, which couldn't have done if I'd still been in the bank. For example, our traveling, our expeditions. We have, as you know, we've got a motorhome, and we do like to travel around the continent. The dogs all have their own passports, although I'm not sure what good they'll be right now since we've left the India. But had I been working at Barclays, we couldn't have gone off for the length of time that we had, and certainly, going as far down south as Gibraltar in the motorhome, we'd have been getting there, saying hello Gibraltar, and turning around and setting off back in a 2-week holiday, which when you're able to go for a while at a time, it's much better.
Gives you a lot more flexibility, doesn't it, working in your own business? It gives you a lot more, doesn't it? It's a lot.
It comes with its
the downsides.
It does come with its challenges, because you don't have
of course,
the end of month salary, but
Plus, also parents think, oh well, it don't matter. I won't bother your brother because he's working. But can you take me to this place and that? I'm working too. So yeah, parents do call on us, but having said that, they're a blessing. They're there.
So you won't be going back to the corporate world?
Hell no. No. Did I say that too quick? No, definitely not.
No, that was okay. That was fine.
So what tip or advice would you give someone thinking of going into business with their partner, significant other?
Make sure you've got a sense of humour.
There was no saying, just do it. No hesitation, just do it. And you're saying you've got to have a sense of...
Communication skills are the best thing that you need to be able to do. You need to be able to communicate, and that means not only like we're having a laugh here, but also communicate in business. Because the thing is, I need to know and understand the accounts, and you need to be able to communicate when I can't spend. But I do think that it's communication. It's being able to not take anything personal as well, because I'll come out sometimes of the in a work head on, and all of a sudden I won't listen to him because I've got other things on my mind, and he then will turn around and say, you're not listening at all. So it's being able to recognise that I'm not communicating correctly, and I'm not listening to you. And then he then all of a sudden will shake me, and he'll turn around and say, right, I need you to listen, focus. Right, okay, I'm listening now.
You're a bit like that with me, aren't you?
That sounds very familiar, Steve. Yeah, very familiar.
Span of a gnat.
Yeah.
But I can't say too much really, because I'm saying the thing is, if we've got a Z in something, and we can have a Z really deep into something, it's really difficult to concentrate on something else. So it's
recognising that, though, isn't it? We took a while to actually recognise the fact that I wanted your attention now, or you wanted my attention now, and because I was focused on something, or because you were focused on something, you didn't actually listen. So therefore, it was a waste of time. So I'll come into to Steve's room, and I'll go, can I just, and I know damn well from his face and the way that he is, he won't even look at me, and I just think, right, okay, I'll write it down, save it for later, or email myself.
My single piece of advice, keeping it short and sweet, would be give yourself time to get to learn each other in business. You might know yourselves in person from a relationship side of things, but don't expect working from a business perspective to be exactly the same. It's not necessarily that straightforward. You've got to have time to learn how each other work, what each other's, not foibles are, but each other's strengths, the way that they work, because, even things like learning, people learn in different ways, and just because you learn in one way doesn't mean that the other person learns in the same way. So it's just about understanding and giving yourself a bit of time to bed down and get to know how each other works, so that then you can can complement each other rather than lock horns.
Sounds like sound advice there, Steve. I think you're probably right as well. I think because personal and business working relationships are different, aren't they?
Absolutely. They have different pressures, they have different requirements, different needs, different timescales, and it could be. I mean, we never had this issue, but it could be that if you don't appreciate that, it could have a negative effect on your personal relationship, and that is something that you want to avoid.
There's sometimes that I will actually, I'll just do this and I'll just do that, and Steve will pick me up, not literally, but pick me up and say, it's time to now go exercise, or it's time now to do something else. It's now time to relax. And then I'll go, all right, okay. So it's just having that reminder as well.
And vice versa, you do the same to me as well. We do that for each other, and you can make it easily with time work so that you both know that and respect it.
Yeah.
And I think it's, for us, it's nice working side by side as well. Our desks are butted up next to each other, so we'd have separate rooms. But it's quite nice knowing that you're working with somebody who you can trust and everything else, isn't it? And they've got your back and all that sort of thing.
It's a big thing, absolutely.
It's good. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it would be quite nice to be in separate rooms.
Separate rooms would be good, actually.
We're talking about business now,
I might change my working arrangements.
Yeah, I'm going to have the loft. It's bigger. You're going to.
No, it is good.
Okay. Right then, I think. Shall we say a big thank you?
We need to ask them details. Yes, if anybody wants to get in touch with you guys, what's the best way of doing that?
Well, we can contact us by phone on 01274 965 411. Our emails are steve@databubble.co.uk and joanne@databubble.co.uk, and the website is databubble.co.uk. There's a theme there. Can you get it?
And you're both on LinkedIn as well, aren't you?
Both on LinkedIn. You can find us both on LinkedIn. Yeah, we're quite.
We'll put these details in the show notes anyway. So if people do need to get hold of you guys, they can.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And at any good networking events, I'm sure they can find you.
Yeah. And thanks very much, guys. It's really a real pleasure. You're lovely people anyway, but it's been a real pleasure talking to you and catching up with you again. It's been nice. So thank you for
right back at you.
Thank you. Taking time out.
Thank you for being on the show.
Okay.
You take care.
Okay.
See you later.
Take care. Thank you very much indeed.
Bye.
Bye.
So Tracy, what's our knowledge share for this week?
Well, this week's knowledge share is an app called Clockify that one of our members shared with us. It's a time tracking app for teams and individuals to help you keep track of your time, and it's called clockify.me. We'll also put the details in the show notes too.
Great share there, Tracy. Get in touch and let us know if you try it and what you think. Well, we're almost at the end of this week's episode. But before we go, we are excited to tell you about our bonus episode this Friday on the Friday Fix, where we will be discussing a business-related subject with a fellow business owner who will be sharing their advice, thoughts or knowledge on a particular topic. This week's episode is called Ignore Your Mum and Talk to Strangers. So tune in to find out more.
Our special guests on next week's podcast are Jill White and Andy Hanselman, and we're really looking forward to speaking to them and digging deeper into their experiences as a business couple. Also, if you'd like to join us at one of our in-business online networking events, the link is in the show notes.
Thanks so much for joining us this week on In Business Talks 2. We hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, all we ask is that you simply tell a friend about the show. We'd really appreciate it.
Until next time, this is Ian and Tracy, and together we are in business. Goodbye.
Goodbye.